Hey, superstars, it's Mr. Jackson. I am making this video tonight, first of all, to say good evening to all of you, and maybe good morning, depending on when you're watching this video. But I'm at home today, and I decided to make this video to help those of you who that were absent, and then those who need a refresher. And then also, if you wanted to share this video with your parents about the project, about what you're going to be doing. So I thought that I'd make this video for you in hopes that this will clear up some expectations for this big, large project that you're working on. So I'm going to just dive right into what was going on. All right. So the first thing, keep in mind, that you're making a colonial project, a colonial sign project. During the colonial times, they often had businesses. And many of we've been studying the colonial period. With the colonists and living in the 13 different colonies. We're during that time period as a new class of people are emerging. It's called the middle class, or sometimes we call them the working class. And they're emerging, and they have all of these shops and businesses because everybody's leaving Europe and wanting to come to the New World and to live. And one of the reasons is because of this new class of people called the middle class, or AKA the working class. Well, the cool thing about the working class is they all have these different trades and jobs like artisans, craftsmen, blacksmith, uh, uh, bridesmith, all types of jobs. It's just hundreds of them. And and the cool thing about it is you can make some good money at these jobs. Whereas over here, where you only had two classes, the wealthy class and the poor class, here for the first time we have an emerging middle class. Now, they made these colonial signs. I brought some examples. I hope you guys can see it. These are some colonial signs that would hang out on their businesses, and this would let people know that like this is a masonry. He worked as this student's name actually was Moon. Last name was Moon Masonry, and these businesses help to shape the people will work. You would go to the masonry if you needed a brick on your housing. Here's another one. I got another one. I got several I brought here today. The suister. That's somebody who sewed. Now, I want you to understand some of these words, some of these jobs, some of these terms we don't use anymore. But if you look at like the root word of suister, it's sew. So that meant this is somebody who sewed. You would go to the suister, suister, and ask her to make you some clothing. All right. So what these are cool things I'm gonna dive into. But I think the best way to do this for you is to show you, number one, where to go find the information, and then let's break down the rubric together. Okay. The first thing. So I'm gonna minimize my screen. I hope you can still see me. You want to go to your class. So I'm just gonna do block A34. All right. I always mess with that block first. All right. You want to go down to where it says American Colonies Unit, which is number 4. And then you want to go over here to where it says American Colonies Homework. All right. Now, when it opens up, everything in here, this homework session is about this colonial sign. You got the place where you sign up for the actual job, the rubric, the supply list, the colonial descriptions, and colonial sign. I want to look at the rubric first because I think that's where we need to start, because that's going to be the most important thing for you guys as you go through this. I want you to take a look at the rubric. All right, and I hope my video's set. Okay, so we're gonna skip through all of this. You can read this. That's just some formalities about colonial America and how signs, about why people used to make signs and what have you. You read that on your own time. When you get it, you want to find you a trade that you're going to do. And we'll talk about that in a minute, about how to pick your trade. And then your project due this is going to be due March the 24th or the 25th, depending on the day that I have you. And once again, it's going to be due March the 24th and the 25th. Those dates are non-negotiable. I will not accept a late project. Now, if you're sent home due to COVID, I expect you to be working on this project at home. Now, when I say COVID, I don't mean like if you're actually out sick, sick, but if you're home because you're in close contact and you're just sitting there and you're like, Mr. Jackson, what do I do? What do I do? All right, this is what you need to be working on to keep this, because I'm not going to accept a late project because because you have plenty of time. And I'm just share something with you. This is the first time I've ever given this long of a project. I'm giving 3 weeks with it. So you guys are getting a blessing that my last students in previous years never got. They only got 2 weeks. But I like you guys, so I'm giving y'all 3 weeks. 3 weeks to do the project. All right. So the first thing you want to do is when you create your sign is that you want to make sure that your sign has a year on it. All right. A year on it. Let me get this one. Here's a wheelwright. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see that. You said it has a year on it. I don't care if you want to put the year at the top or you want to put it at the bottom. I hope y'all can see this. Okay. If you want to put it at the bottom, this is a wheelwright. This is pretty cool wheelwright too, by the way. But you are to have to make the year on it. Now, the year that your business was established has to be between 1607 and 1750. Now, the reason why we say 1607 is because of the fact that we did not get, think back to class. When did we get to Jamestown? If you're saying 1607, you would be right. So it would be kind of silly for you not to put like 13 or 14 or 1500 because we weren't even here yet. We didn't arrive till 1607. So that's when you can start to put your date. Now you're like, well, Mr. Jackson, what date do I actually put? Well, that's where you do your research and you find out when did they start using wheelwrights? When did they start using brightsmith? When did they start using blacksmith? Now I'm going to give you a little caveat. A lot of jobs we brought over from England, from the motherland. So those jobs were already in existence. So then you can pick a date between 1607 and 1750. Let me say it again, 1607 and 1750. You can pick any date. I told students, ask what year were you born. Some of you were born in 2009. Then put 1609, 1709, or 1629, 1639. That's when your business was established. But don't go before 1607 and do not go after 1750 because that's the time that we consider that the colonial period is beginning to end. All right. Now, the next period is that include an image that is appropriate for the trade and time period. Okay, this image right here is for a wheelwright. That is very appropriate. Notice I didn't put a tire on here. The student that just says the student that they put a tire. That wasn't appropriate. They didn't have rubber tires. They had wooden tires. He made a cool little tire here. Let me show you another one. This student did one. This is a pretty cool one. I hope y'all can see that. I hope you can see that. These, by the way, these examples are on. I'm going to show you where y'all can see these, a real clear picture of these. That's appropriate image for that time period. That's a blowing glass. Keep in mind, back in the 1600s, the illiteracy rate, and when we say the illiteracy rate, the ability to be able to read and to write was very, very, very high. Most people could not read or write. If you had a group of 10 people, you can imagine about 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them could not read or write at what we consider an effective level. So it wasn't until almost the 1800s before that really starts to change. So what happened was during this time period, when you made a colonial sign, your image was important to convey because this is Daniel's glass blowing. Most people couldn't read glass blowing, but they saw this image and they knew right away that this image was this business was that of a glass blowing business. So this was one that they could use. Now, I want to share something with you. Also, so make sure you put a good, appropriate image. Now, when we say image, we're also talking about making sure things are appropriate for the time period. For those of you who want to be a gunsmith or a busman, which is fine, I don't have a problem with you being a gunsmith, but make sure you use appropriate images. Like this is gunpowder, and these are the right type of muskets. Please do not use things such as modern day guns and stuff that's inappropriate for a project of this nature. Okay. All right. So the next thing on our list here, I'm gonna kind of highlight it. I just highlighted it there. Is to make sure that your image is spelled correctly. Your name, the name of your trade, and the name of your trade is spelled correctly. Okay. So let me give you another one here. Like this is another wheelwright, okay? Wheelwright, he spelled it correctly. Make sure that you spell it correctly. Don't put a name that's incorrect on there. Wheelwright, all right? All right, so that's real important because I will take points off if it's not the correct spelling is not on there. All right, next, double-sided. Uh-oh, what does Mr. Jackson mean by double-sided? Well, it's real simple. Sorry, I'm picking these up off the floor. It's real simple. What you do on one side, you must do it on the other side. Say that again. What you do on one side, you must do on the other side, double-sided. Let me show you again. Hold on a second. I'm getting my mine off the floor. Oh snap! Mr. Jackson almost knocked out mine. Double-sided. What's on one side? What's on the other side? Double-sided. Double-sided. Here we go. What's on one side is on the other side. Hold on a second. This is double. There you go. Double-sided. Did you get it in the camera? Double-sided. All right. Double-sided. Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Double-sided? No. Unfortunately, the student didn't pass the assignment. And his project was not hung out in the hallway. And he did not pass. All right. Let me share with you, since we're talking about he didn't do what I asked on the project, or didn't follow the rubric, actually. If you do not meet the requirements in this rubric, you are subject to not have your project hung in the hallway. An incorrect assignment will not get hung up in the hallway, okay? So please make sure you're following, because you're going to do all this beautiful work, and I really want to display it. I really do. Your parents will be so proud of you when they be able to come up to Simpson and see the great work that you've done. All right, you need to, your sign needs to be able to be read from 10 feet, because this is going to use large lettering. So when you use your large lettering, let me get another sign. Large lettering. See, he did a good job, even though he didn't do the other side. But he used large lettering, excuse me. She did a very good job. She used large lettering, okay? Large lettering, okay? Make sure that you're using the large so it can be read from 10 feet. Also, use lightweight materials such as a cardboard, foam board. Foam board is the best thing to use, okay? Or a poster board that is reinforced. Now, when we say poster board that's reinforced, what we're saying is, if you cannot come in there with a poster board, do not go to Walmart and buy a poster board and say, "Oh, hey, Mr. Jackson, I'm doing my project." No, you're not. You must take it and put it, which I think is, I really wish I had taken that out of there, because really and truly, I would just avoid using poster boards altogether, because unless you reinforce it with a strong board in between, it's pointless. And if you're going to buy a poster board, a foam board, and put it in between, then why don't you just use the foam board? So I would just say avoid the poster boards altogether. These are the dimensions. Get a measuring tape. You need to have it big enough. Don't be that kid that makes it too small, because if it's too small, I will not put it up in the hallway. All right, read those measurements quickly. This is 30 points. It is a summative grade. Now, when you're getting ready to choose, so let's go back to that again. I'm going to run through that real quickly. All right, your date must be between 1607 and 1750. No exception. Please do not go before 1607. Only use images that are appropriate for the trade. When they say appropriate for the trade, they're talking about wheelwright. Make sure that's a wheelwright. That's appropriate. He didn't use a modern day tire with rubber on it, because they didn't have rubber wheels back then. They were made for carriages, so they didn't even have those. So make sure it's appropriate, or don't use inappropriate, like if you're going to do a gunsmith or busman, don't use inappropriate weapons. Make sure they're from that time period. All right. Make sure your trade name is spelled correctly. You do a great job of spelling. Double-sided. What you do on one side of the poster board, you have to do of the foam board, you have to do on the other side. Simple and neat, easy to read. The lettering is very large so people can see it. And then use lightweight materials such as a foam board, cardboard, and that's really well done. Now, let me share something with you. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. All right, so you guys get that, and that's going to be 30 points that for your rubric. Now that we're taking a look at the rubric, let's actually go back at the project. I'm going to go back over here. American Colonies Unit, homework, supply list. All right. Now, let's get to the Colonial description jobs, okay? This is where you actually go look for your jobs, okay? For those of you like, well, Mr. Jackson, I don't know what job to get. Well, no worries. Here you go. You got all of these jobs that you can pick from. Now, there is only one catch. You can't have something that someone else in your class already has, okay? So, but you got over 100 different types of jobs here that you can use, all right, that you can go through. Now, let me share a little caveat with you. I also, at the bottom of your rubric, if you don't see a job on this list that I just provided for you, you're like, Mr. Jackson, I don't see any of the jobs. I don't like any of them. Okay, fine, no problem. Then come back over here, and then only at the bottom of your rubric, your electronic rubric, I have web pages that will take you to different types of colonial jobs. You may see one on there that you like. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you using that, picking one from here. Now, here comes the hard part. When you find the job that you like, only you can have that. No one else in your class can have it. You're like, well, how do I know somebody else in my class has it? Click on this first link here. Click on sign up for job listing, and then go into different blocks, and you can see what everyone has done. That's block 834. This is block 834. This is block 5-6. All right, you can see that Cristobal has Fraser, Aiden is a silversmith, Tiffany is a chandler, Julia is a suister. All of these different jobs that you see right here that are available for you to use. Okay, all right. So that's just what you can go in and take a look at when you have time. Put the number next to wherever your job is. Okay. Those are the different jobs that you have, all right? So let me go back here. Let me say it again. Go to American Colonies Unit, click on Homework, and sign up for the job list right there. You got that? And that job list right there, and it takes you right to the job list of all the different jobs of people in your class, okay? Now, remember, the place where you get the sign-up list is right here. This is the list that you're going to actually choose from is right here. Okay? I'll go back to that again in a second. All right. Now, next, supply list. Click on the supply list. Everyone, click on the supply list with me. Click on the supply list with me. All right. Clicked on it. All right. Bam, the supply list. Now, let me be clear with you on this. Something I only created this. I had a student email me over the weekend and said, Mr. Jackson, my mom and I are going out shopping and she wants to know what to purchase. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. I've never made a supply list. And I'm like, you know what? This kid's right. Mom and dad may not know exactly what to get. So I'll help you out. Foam board. Your parents will need to get you a foam board. Get a good one. Now, Dollar Tree does sell them, but they're not as great. But I've used, don't get me wrong, twisted. Mr. Jackson used Dollar Trees, and I like Dollar Tree's foam board. But when you put paint on them, they're not always the best. But that's okay, fine. I've held them up, but I've done well with them. You can go to Staples, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or any craft store and get some foam board. Also, paint. If you're going to paint it. Now, keep in mind, you want to tend to lend to the earthy colors, the tone down. No hot pinks, hot yellows. Why? Who can tell me why we don't use hot pink, hot yellow? Oh, yeah, I heard someone say it. Because we did not have those colors back then. All right? And so make sure you're not using those kind of colors. Stick to this chart right here, and you'll be good. All right? Contact paper. If you're a type of person that you don't like paint, then try contact paper. Contact paper is good. You can find that too at various Amazon, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, all these different places you can find contact paper at, and try that. Try contact. I like contact paper too. Sometimes, some years when I make one, I make it out of paint. Some years I use contact paper. It's all your choice. All right. Now this is right here kind of unique. I had a coworker of mine, Mr. Ludwig. Y'all know Mr. Ludwig, great guy. He's the one that told me about this. He said he had a student who actually used this. You buy this roller and this little brush paint, and then you just dip it in paint and then roll it down your poster board, and it makes this cool looking wood pattern. I thought that was the coolest thing. Well, I put a link to Amazon where I found it. You can purchase it on Amazon. Also, there's a video that you can watch. Let me see if I can pull it up here. A video here that you can go and see how they automatically start painting it. You can use that same video. See how they did that. I think that's so cool that they did that. But anyhow, that's something that option. None of these, and Mr. Jackson saying you have your mom and dad have to do. This is your project. I'm just giving you some ideas. You may go in the backyard and see something that you like. I don't care how you do it. It's just this is just some ideas students ask. All right, now last. The one thing that I get every year is, Mr. Jackson, how do I make the letters? How do I make the letters? And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I never had an answer. And I'm like, I know how we make them at the school, but I didn't know how to tell you make them at home. Well, I found out a way you can do that. All right. You can do what they call die cut letters. You can notice from Dollar Tree. I'll be honest with you, they're not the best. I've tried the Dollar Tree letters and they're not all that great. They're cheap. And then too, unless you go to a big Dollar Tree like the one over in Sterling, I don't know about Leesburg. I've never shopped in. I live in Ashburn, and the one in Ashburn is like, all right, so they may have the die cut letters and they may not. They're so iffy in there. But I don't know about Leesburg. I've never been in there, but they're not the best letters. But you can try them, and be careful getting colored letters because they may be colored. You may have to paint them. So I don't know if the Dollar Tree thing is you want. This right here you can get at like Joann's or Michael's. They're what we call die cut letters, and you can get those. Those are pretty cool. And then you have these right here. This is my favorite, and I put a link in there for you guys. You can actually print the letters up at your own home. I love this website. Let me open it up for you. Let me open it up for you. And you, by the way, I linked it in there. You just click on either one, the picture or whatever. You can print up your own letters. See that A came up? You can print them at home, and then maybe find some black construction paper or brown, whatever you want to make your letters, because you don't want to use white letters. But this is so cool. I've been looking for something like this, and it's free. It's very free, and I challenge you to go do this one first before you look at you have to spend money. Save your parents some money, save them some money. Do this one first, at least look at it first. And I think you can change the style and the font and the colors and all that good stuff, all that good jazz. You don't have to make your letters look like this. I think you do all different types of styles of letters. It is really a cool website. All right. Now, if your mom and dad said, well, where's Mr. Jackson getting? I made here a list of all of the stores that I've been shopping at over the years. You guys, the only one I think I'm missing on here is Staples. I need to put Staples on there. But these are the different stores and stuff so that your parents will have. This is my supply list. Let me tell you, like I put up here in the first, these are suggestions. They are suggestions. You are not required to have to follow or buy the things that I bought. These are just some suggestions that I've taken over the years from other students and just something Mr. Jackson, his own little tidbit. All right. I hope I'm not talking too fast. I know I'm trying to rush on through this because we're at 22 minutes. Okay. Now, lastly, let's go back to the project. Go back to your classroom. Click on American Colonies. Click on Homework. All right, now the last thing is Colonial sign examples. And this is something you can sit down with mom and dad or big brother, big sister, and maybe, or just use if you want to do it at your own pace. That's whatever floats your boat. I like a family fair. I don't have a problem with mom and dad getting there and play around. They may get all excited about colonial time period. All right, these are some different signs from the colonial time period, the shapes that they had, the different shapes. You can do those different shapes. That's your choice. Not saying you have to, but you can keep it square because this one's just square, or you can do a cute little cut it out. I like the look let me show you this one. See, this student here, she cut the top of hers out. That is actually a beautiful job. Beautiful job. This student here, Bob, even though he didn't do the back side, he did. I like how he did this side right there. Those the top. So it's your choice. All right. These are some samples. Have mom and dad look at them with you, big brother, big sister, or just look at them by yourself and get an idea or a feel of what it is that you would like to do. Okay. All right. So these are some things that you can take a look at. Just go through them and look at them and all these different examples. And then if you have questions, email me those questions. Now, I do want to share something with you. Before I let you go, I got one more thing. Mr. Jackson has one more thing to share with you. I created, and I'm not going to publish this for the public. Next, you know what? Let me do it this way. I don't, because, let me go back. All right, let me go back. Oh, just one second. I'm going to do something real quick. I had students send me, let me go back to full screen. Okay. I made this thing in my, and this was Mr. Jackson. I made this. I wanted to, you guys were asking me very good questions. Now I'm reading off another computer, which is on the side of me. So if, oh, I should say over here. But if I'm looking off on the side, that's because I'm reading off another computer and talking to you guys at the same time. No photographs on the picture on your project at all. No photographs. Please do not put photographs on it. Somebody said, well, what's the difference between a photograph and an image? A photograph is like putting a picture of you or your project or something like a on it. No photographs at all. They must be in images. The best way to do that is to do silhouette, is to do a black image. If you're concerned, I will show you how to do that in class to make a silhouette, or your mom and dad. If you can just put, you can do silhouette cell phone, silhouette pencil, silhouette hand sanitizer, and it's going to show make up a black image. And let me show you what a silhouette. Hold on just a second. This is the silhouette image, a black image. You can, now I had somebody doing a Sattler. Just be careful about putting two well, if you got a hand that you can draw your picture, you got that good hand and you can make it look really neat and nice, fine. But if not, then just go with the silhouette or whatever. You know, I don't want to stifle your creativity, but I do not want photographs, please. All right. You may get another, like I told you, if you don't like my the Colonial jobs I came up with, and you want your own job, sure, no problem. Find one, but then you have to show me the website where you got that, because I need to make sure it's a Colonial job. Let me see what else. These are good questions. No early projects, please. They're due the 24th and the 25th. I don't have space in my classroom, so please do not turn those in early. Da, 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 da. Let me make sure. Hold on a second. I'm reading this over here. Oh, do not put holes in your signs. You do not need to put holes in the signs. I keep having a lot of people ask me. Let me show you something what I mean by that. I have a lot of people keep asking me, do I put holes in these signs? Do I put, nope, don't worry about it. You just make it and Mr. Jackson will take care of the holes. Do not put holes in the sign. Okay? All right. No photographs. I'm reading the sign. Your date needs to be between 1607 and 1750. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm just looking at my little list here. I showed you the supply list. Okay, and make sure you put your number next to your project. All right, that's all I have. You do have a Google form that needs to be filled out with this. That you watch this video. Okay, and that's it. Anything else? Just email me, Mr. Jackson, at derek.jackson@lcps.org, and I will try to help you out as much as I can. All right. Have fun with this. Don't wait to the last moment. Please don't wait till that, because it's a lot of work. I've given it to you and I'm plenty enough time for you to get started. Okay. This is a Colonial sign project. The whole purpose of this project is that you're going to build and create your own Colonial sign that you will be able to show people your middle class business. Because you're now part of the middle class or the working class, and you're now building your own business. So do a great job with this. Okay. Any questions? Email me or just let me know in the classroom. All right. Thank you.